Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope I've reached you in a positive moment. For those of you that are joining for the first time, this channel is about all things business, more specifically, my experience with small business and whatever I can do to help you start, run, and grow your small business. So, really quickly, I wanted to jump on here and introduce a new topic, which is information systems. So, as you know, businesses collect information and not just customer information. They collect information about their competition, research information, information about their employees, information about their processes. And to store this information, the system or systems that store this information, this is becoming like big business. Creating those systems, managing those types of systems, and you need this whether you are a one man, one woman show or you have 100 employees. So, going forward, I want you to think very critically about just your personal information, which, we all have stuff in our head. We know when bills are due, we know, what we eat, grocery lists, things like that. But even in your personal life, using some type of system to store information, and it gives you the opportunity to make more, better informed decisions. So if you know that you need pepper, you know, and you have some type of system that tells you, okay, this pepper lasts 3 months, and this system will alert you or tell you that, hey, in about a week, your pepper is going to be gone. Instead of you going to actually cook something and everything is frying and going and you chopped everything and you go to grab the pepper and it's gone and you need pepper. So that's just one example of using the systems to give us back helpful information to make us, better informed, and we can make better decisions. So I'm not a big fan of, reinventing the wheel. There are a lot of programs out here, templates, and all sorts of things that you can kind of download and use totally for free. And in some of those instances, you can change the fields or the names of the different fields that describe, what you're calculating or what you're doing, the information. So one example of a field would possibly be customer ID. So each customer has an ID unique to them. So when you are searching that information, if that customer has their customer ID, you can find that information about that customer and hopefully solve whatever problem or help them however you can help them. And so let's relate this to your personal life. So we all should have a budget. Some of us write it by hand. Some of us just kind of know, some of us may not have a budget. But the important pieces of the budget, the expense, the income, letting you know what's coming in, letting you know what's going out so you can make better informed decisions in regards to your finances. So those templates will have set fields, rent, utilities. As it relates to business, it may be you're leasing it, if you're leasing a building, the expense for that, insurances, permits, licenses, legal fees, supplies, so you kind of get where I'm going. So you want to track certain things. And some of you may have, boxes of t-shirts and merchandise in your living room. And, you're relying on the people that you've purchased this from to track certain things. But I'll let you know that you tracking it on your own and building systems to track it on your own will save you in the long run, because you kind of know what you're doing and you don't have to bring anyone from the outside in to help you clear up this mess. Because trust me, once you get to going and rocking and rolling, the last thing on your mind is sitting here assigning inventory numbers and counting shirts and bracelets, and no one really wants to do that. So you can actually create the system and have another person input that information into a system for you while you go and make, other more important owner type, you know, boss type decisions. But again, you may be actually the one inputting that information. So I don't want to, bring you into this fairy tale world, but you create the system and you can use that information to make informed decisions. You know what items are selling the most, and it seems like a large tax, and it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You have one or two different, maybe three different programs that you'll be working with, and they all need to talk to each other. And if you have no idea even what those programs are or how to use them, there's a learning curve. But I want to help you. I'm going to walk you through some basics. Now, if you have a hard time picking things up, you may have to review what I've said and then go to another outside source, and I'll recommend a few for you to walk through those tutorials on how to manipulate those systems. Okay, so let's talk about the systems. We have free versions, which we call OpenOffice. OpenOffice systems mimic the Microsoft suite. OpenOffice stuff is usually free. The one that they have is OpenOffice, and then they have Libre, Libre. And Libre kind of phased out OpenOffice, but I still use OpenOffice. It talks to Microsoft Excel, so you can always save in the different formats. And if you have someone that will be, or if you're opening it up in a different system, you'll be able to still manipulate it and do things with that, with the system and the data and whatever you're trying to, or the goals that you're trying to accomplish. Okay. So I'll walk you through a little bit of that. Another one is Access. So in OpenOffice, I believe it's just database. It's just a database. I forget what they call it, but anyway, in Microsoft, it's Access, Microsoft Access, and so you create these databases where you can store customers' names, phone numbers, email addresses, descriptive information about whatever service or product they've purchased, whatever type of information you want to collect and store. Okay. And then with your on the personal side, you may want to keep track of, let me think, in Access, you may want to keep track of your, trying to think. I mean, maybe CDs or something. I don't know. Do people still have CDs and DVDs and things? You may want to keep track of a collection or something that you have. You may want to store information about, I'm trying to think, because, a database, businesses normally, I'm trying to think. If I come up with any, I'm trying to think, any examples. In the household, you probably use the Excel spreadsheets to do your budget. I'm trying to think, I don't, unless it's something with your business. That's the only thing I can think, right? So you may want to track employees, hours, other things. And you can print this information out and, deliver it as a result or outcome. If someone asks you, how many sales or what was your total sales for the year 2018, you can print out your daily, weekly, monthly reports. You can print out the year ending report. So the database does a few things. It houses the information and stores it. It allows you to input the information, and it allows you to print it out in a readable, usable form where you're transmitting this information for whatever reason. It could be to give to investors. It could be to show for maybe a bank loan or something like that. And it shows that you're tracking your business, tracking the things within your business. Okay. So I hope I hadn't confused you too much. Databases, information systems. This is a growing field. This is really a career. Okay. I went to school for accounting information systems, but at the very last minute, I changed it to business information systems. And I learned a lot. I'm so appreciative of what I learned during that time span. And I just want to download it and make it available for you. I've already paid for it. And so, you don't have to pay for it other than your internet connection or whatever. But again, if you guys want to donate and support the channel, I'm all for that. And I appreciate it. I certainly do. I put the Cash App on a couple of the audio sessions, and I appreciate, I'm not going to name out the handles, and actually I can't even remember the handles, but I appreciate it. I woke up to quite some blessings, and man, this is all I can tell you. When you're hungry for information, and when you're really serious, you go to great lengths to find that information. And it is some things that maybe you do need to pay for. I had to pay for this information. I paid for it. But I'm not a selfish person. Okay. So, I take that back. I can be selfish, especially about some of my favorite foods. But that's another story. But I mean, I want you to lay your foundation. And when you lay your foundation with helpful systems, and it's even better when they're free, when you lay your foundation with helpful systems, even when you transition to maybe a more secure, paid version of these systems, where you have a third party helping you manage, at least, at the very least, you know how to work the system, or the basis of the system and the purpose of the systems that you're using. Okay. So I'm going to leave this right here. The next installment will be a few examples of the systems that you can use and how to kind of use them. And then the rest, you'll have to go off and do your own independent tutorials as far as walking you step by step through learning these systems. So I'll give you a little hint. The best way to learn some of these systems is to create kind of like mock or test tutorial type situations. Make yourself a floral shop and write down all of the information that you would want to collect and begin trying to build those systems to collect and store that information, and go from there. And you build and you build. It took me a little time to get this. There were, I believe, 17 classes or so, 17 different types of classes, MySQL. There were a bunch of different building blocks. So I encourage you to use, the easiest, for you. You don't have to learn. If you weren't interested in programming and stuff like that, you don't really have to go out there and build it from scratch. Okay. You're not building the software itself. The software is already out there. You download it and you learn to use it properly. The open office may not be for you. So if you find something else, make sure you look up those tutorials on how to use those software programs. And if you're using your phone, they have the Excel quick sheets inside of your Google Play. So these are all options. And, like always, I hope everything you touch turns to gold.